What's good, everybody? What's going on, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy. And we are back with another episode of the Right Quality Podcast. And I know y'all see that we have a special guest, but before we get to him, friends, co-hosts, please remind the people of who you are.
Ashley Wright the first.
Danger.
Steve, is that a Stony Brook sweater?
It is.
It catches my eye every time you wear it. And I'm like, I always mean to ask.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thrifted. So
all the best.
Yeah, for sure.
always. Yes.
The referee. I got my striped couch. I'm here to judge. The referee's wife came in. On. It's game on.
Crying.
Wait, oh my God. If you're audio, it's time to start the podcast. We are here.
And we have a special guest today to help us break down a lot of things going on in pro football. There's a lot happening, obviously. But yes, Sir Tyler, please let the people know who you are and what it is that you're involved in, what you do, so they can know that you know ball.
I appreciate that. Tyler Rosen, do sports broadcasting work, do some with Ashley, call a lot of high school football together. Talk a lot of Mizzou football, I know, in our free time on and off the mic. Just love watching it, man. Love watching ball, especially this playoff season. And the drama that the NFL is just keeps on giving with this coaching cycle. It's been kind of crazy. That's what I got.
No, I feel it, man. It's been insane. I keep repeating, as somebody who has become heavily invested in football this particular season, and I stopped being a passive watcher. I got all the way in the trenches with it. The coaching cycle was something that caught my eye for the first time. I typically, see firings and hirings, but in being kind of invested in the league, the hirings and firings kind of make a little bit more sense now, or at least I kind of have more context as to whether it's a good thing, bad thing, what could come from it, whether this is good for the organization, all of that good jazz. And we will move into this crazy, historic head coach carousel, as I've been calling it, hiring cycle, if that's the term that you would rather use. But yeah, a lot of teams said, yeah, we're going to clean house this offseason. We're sick of it. We're tired of seeing it. So if I'm not mistaken, Ravens, Bills, Dolphins, Giants, Steelers, Titans, Falcons, Browns, Cardinals, Raiders.
Yep.
10 teams fired their head coaches. Some teams also fired their coordinators.
Sounds like anime.
That's the deep of the trenches. We'll see how far we get into those. But as far as head coaches are concerned, 8 of those teams have hired new head coaches. This is not in chronological order of when they're hired. This is the order that I wrote them in as I was doing my research. But we'll start with the Ravens, who hired Jesse Minter. Didn't know about him until I did my research. But here we go. 5 years at Georgia State as a DC, 4 years with the Ravens as a DB coach, 1 year at Vandy as a DC, 2 years at Michigan as a DC, and then 1 year as a DC for the Chargers before taking this job. Not sure if y'all are privy to that or not, or how much y'all know about Jesse Minter, but thoughts on that hire by the Ravens.
Time Stiller.
Is that who that is?
Yeah. Well, he was at Michigan.
Oh. No, because I was going to say, I watched that documentary. I was like, that's not the name I remember, but he was there. Okay, gotcha. I mean, he might be a sign stealer. Who knows? Maybe the Ravens see that. I don't know. But
I've been following him back since like 09, 12, around when he's with the Sycamores a little bit. But other than
But are we surprised at this hire? I guess that might be the better question. Are we surprised that the Ravens didn't maybe go with a more prominent name, given their quarterback, given maybe trying to give confidence that the organization is moving in a little bit of a more organized direction, for lack of a better word, or, hopefully that's coming off right. But yeah, are we surprised by this hire?
I don't know. I think the Ravens needed to refigure out what their defense was supposed to be. Like, I think a lot of complaints, their defense was not good, especially when their offense couldn't keep them in games. And when they started slow this year, like the defense just, it wasn't going to stop anybody. And I think like, I don't know. I remember Ravens teams being like Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, and just like you just knew people were going to be basically living on the ground more than standing up. So I think it's a good hire in the sense of trying to get back to defense for them. And they may have hired an offensive coordinator, and this is on me for not looking real quick, but that's going to be the more important hire, I think, when it comes to like Lamar and that side of the ball, because you can trust Minter to just kind of insert his defense and his style and whatever. And I don't know that it's going to be a terrible looking defense, but that offensive coordinator hire is pretty important, and so is the one in New York now that Monken won't be there. But yeah, I don't think it's terrible. We'll see though. I'm surprised they didn't maybe go for a bigger swing initially.
Yeah, I have to say this was a shock to me. Chargers defense, maybe I live under a rock. They weren't eye-catching to me.
I think
Not
I would
on,
expect it throughout the season. I would hear them brought up as
okay,
respectable defense. So
all right, okay. Um, yeah, a defensive hire doesn't surprise me. Kyle Van Noy, you've got Malachi Starks, and they got some pretty good names on defense. Lamar Jackson. I don't know how to feel for him. I still don't know if Jesse Minter is the coach that takes the Ravens to the next level. That's all.
I think that's why the OC hire is important. But I also wonder if, and this is a stretch because I'm not saying they're thinking this, but I wonder if the concept or the rumors of them potentially maybe trading Lamar or Lamar wanting that trade, if that comes to fruition, not solely because of the hire, but I wonder if Lamar kind of looks at it like, I just don't know how I feel about this situation and I'd rather be elsewhere. I don't think that would surprise me, but Lamar just also doesn't strike me as the guy to necessarily jump ship. But also, this is new territory for Lamar as well. I think this is only his second head coach, of course. So maybe he'll give it a try. I think it's clear that he's the franchise's guy, of course. So I could imagine the coach in his own way trying to tailor a lot to Lamar anyway. But I would agree with the shock. And like you said, kind of like a bigger swing I would have expected, given that I think the head coaching position was a highly touted one. Again, given who your quarterback is, so you kind of had room to swing for the fences for a hire. But I don't know. I don't know if this is a playing it safe situation for teams, or honestly, I don't know if it seems like this cycle a lot of OCs, DCs are getting their chance. And I don't know if that's just because there's a lot of opportunities or if that's just the way the league is going. But that'll lead me to a question that I have at the end of the carousel conversation. But that's the Ravens.
He did coach the top 5 defense with the Chargers. Like,
So they were top 5.
they were top
It
5.
did not feel like it.
It didn't.
Hey, tell that to their Jay Herbo.
Okay, so we had the Bills next. We talked about them firing McDermott, right? That's his last name. Okay. Cool. I had a lot of different M names that were going through the Rolodex. I want to make sure I got it right. But they hired Joe Brady. They essentially just promote him from OC to head coach. This one doesn't shock me as much. I'm not super surprised that the Bills kept it in the house. I'm not super surprised that the OC that worked with Josh Allen is now the head coach. I think for that reason,
Wow.
I like it. Obviously they still have to kind of like fill out that coaching staff. I don't know if Brady will also keep the play calling duties. I could easily see that as well. But I think this maybe presents the smoothest transition for a team that probably didn't want to see too much overhaul, with this hire, but also it seems like the organization had way more going on than we realized in the midst of this firing. But yeah, thoughts on this hire for Joe Brady with the Bills?
I'll take it. I think, ooh, I think, yeah, it was just the smart move to make. I think it was the safe move. A lot of their interviews had to have been smoke and mirrors because when I saw you interviewed Philip Rivers, I said, "What?"
That was a bit mind-boggling for sure.
Yeah, and then for them to interview Dayball, love Dave so much. I hate we had to let him go. I knew that was fake too. I just knew, sweetie, you weren't gonna get that job. So the fact that they announced the OC as head coach, it had to have been somebody that Josh was comfortable with. But if it doesn't work out with this guy, Joshy Poo, I don't know what to tell you. You had the easiest path this season, sir. And now you've got a new head coach. I better see something shake next season. You better have an appearance in the conference championship. If we don't see that, it's you. It's you.
She just can't
You're
film
just,
for 2026. He'll be good.
it's you. Oh, she can't
Come out.
film, but she
Come
can't
out.
because she's about to give birth.
We're
So,
not going through this rhetoric
Nothing
again.
until February 2027. She's clear. She's
okay.
clear to go.
So he might. He might. But I tell you what, Joe Brady better have some excellent plays for Josh Allen. Because if not, I got some stuff to say. So you got a year for me to keep my mouth shut. I am on you in the 2027 season. I am. I am.
You know.
I,
Anytime you have a chance to hire Tom Brady's dad, you go for it. So, I mean, we're bearing the lead. What more can I say? Next.
I'm crying. Tyler, any thoughts?
I never got the firing to begin with of McDermott, and
yeah.
I won't say I was a big McDermott defender or hater by any stretch of the imagination, but it seems so knee-jerk reaction because then you listen to the press conference, which was just a train wreck in and of itself. The fact that they blamed coaching for part of the roster buildup and then promote from within automatically just kind of says like they knew they maybe made a mistake, not a mistake in their mind, but just like, oh, we reacted and we've got to do at least the smart thing or the safe thing. And I don't hate the Joe Brady hire, but it's just leaves you to think like as a Bills fan, so what's different now September or whatever when we open up this new stadium? And I already saw one Bills fan joking like, "Oh, so when we're sitting there ready with hope for another season and it's 1st and 10 from the 30, it's going to be a 1 yard screen pass out into the flat for a loss, right?" It's like, so I didn't get it to begin with. I think Brady should be fine, at least as far as keeping smooth transition for Allen. So not terrible how it started, but just didn't get it to begin with.
Yeah.
You
Completely.
hire Sean McDermott as defensive coordinator and then just run it back.
That's crazy.
Hey, you're really good at this. You should be able to see.
It's literally wild that he and Tomlin. I'm not saying that they're forced to take a year off because I feel like if they wanted jobs, they would have jobs. But the fact that two really great proven coaches are taking a year off in this wild coaching cycle, I think that says a lot too about today's NFL.
Agreed. Absolutely. We'll move to the Dolphins. They hired Jeff Halfley as their
Who?
Packers old BC.
I'm
She
kidding.
knows who. She's just rubbing salt in the wound. But no, happy for Halfley. I think this is a good hire by the Dolphins. Again, has a lot of DC experience, also has head coach experience at the collegiate level. So I'm not surprised that he's getting this head coaching opportunity in the NFL finally. Think the president came over from Green Bay as well, so that connection already existed. But yeah, thoughts on Halfley going to Miami? I think for me, the biggest thing is I just don't know what this Miami roster looks like at all. So I'm not sure what team he'll be working with, but I do think Halfley is a coach that players will love to play for. I feel like a lot of defensive players in Green Bay really loved him, so I don't expect that to change for the entirety of the roster with him as a head coach. But yeah, any major thoughts or knee-jerk reactions to this hiring?
No major thought. I actually like that the Dolphins went defensive minded, though. I
Yeah.
do like that. I think they did need that change.
I hope they give Halfley some patience there. And I think having the new GM who's familiar with him from Green Bay helps understand like the cap situation they're in, the roster situation, and trying to figure out who the heck is going to be taking snaps in the near future. So it's probably not a bad hire. I just hope I hope with any of these guys, they give them enough time to try and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
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 Because I don't want to forget the question, how long do you feel like what's a truly good timeline for a new head coach, and not necessarily first time, but just a new head coach in a new environment? What's a good enough time, or what's a good timeline for them to, like, how long does the patience extend? Because I think sometimes you can hastily make a decision in a year or two if you just feel like things are going that badly, but that might not be considering cap space, like the time it takes to get the money in a position to actually fill out a roster the way a coach may actually want to kind of win, or even to build a culture for that matter. So what do you feel like is a good timeline for giving coaches that opportunity and having patience with them to kind of build a culture and ultimately build a winning roster? Before you start to question things, I guess.
I think like probably 3 to 5, again, depending on kind of the situation that you're dealing with on the books or just within the organization. But like, I mean, Pete Carroll getting fired after 1 year, I guess, is a bit of an exception. Or Brian Callahan, like their records were just so bad, you're not gonna stick with them. But yeah, 3 to 5 is probably good. I mean, because that gives 3 years is plenty of time to turn over a roster, even if there's some salary cap issues, or to get your right coaching staff in. And that's plenty of time to build a relationship too with the front office. But it just seems like even if you get that bare minimum 3, sometimes if the success isn't there right away, teams are still so quick to move. Like Raheem Morris in Atlanta, he was just about 500 through 2 years. And I'm not saying that's great or it all would have clicked next year, but what's wrong with giving a guy like Raheem Morris 2 years where this Falcons team kind of just turned it on over the second half of the year? So 3 to 5 realistically. Now, how many teams actually give their coaches that much? Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
Not many. Not many are the coaches that much time. Yeah.
One is max, what everyone else says. Survey says.
Right. Miguel, any additional thoughts on the Halfley hire outside of sadness?
Yeah,
Sad.
I liked him. I mean, I always hate our defense when it comes to important long third downs or having a lead. So yeah, bring me I know we just signed a secondary, like we just signed another coach today. He focuses on like the secondary. I forgot his name. But I wish we got McDermott as our DC and just renewed there. But
Ironically, I don't dislike Gannon, given his
Mike Gannon?
resume. You said what?
Mike Gannon is in Green Bay now?
John Gannon is in Green Bay.
John, that's his name. From the Cardinals.
Yes, he's the DC. He's the
Okay.
DC guy.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people wanted Leonard from Denver. I know a lot of people were looking at Morris to maybe come over as a DC. I give Gannon a shot. I mean, I don't know if there's any perfect hire. It's all going to depend on health anyway, for real. But I don't mind the Gannon hire at DC, to be honest. But we'll see. But we'll move to the Giants. Ashley, I'm not sure if you have more finalized thoughts on this. But of course, they hired John Harbaugh. He was in Baltimore for 18 years and will now be with the New York Football Giants with a lot of control and autonomy, it seems like. I don't know if that's good or bad. For a Giants fan, can let me know. But yeah, thoughts on this hire, and do we feel like he's the coach to help kind of, help them pivot or turn the corner in New York? Because the talent is there. So
Heck yeah. Super Bowl champs. No, I'm kidding. I like this quote by Harbaugh. He said, after speaking with Jackson Dart, he wanted to run through the wall. I think this team is going to be fun, chaotic. I I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see how John complements Jackson Dart's game. In a lot of ways, I'm not saying he's Lamar, but I think in terms of using his legs, they're similar. Very great reads, the progressions. I like the similarities there, and I like what John Harbaugh brings. And for the first time in many years, I feel like Harbs has a wide receiver one in Malik Neighbors when he returns that he can have a lot of fun with. So I'm happy that he has the autonomy. I wish my dearest Todd Monken could have made it to New York, but I'm excited to see who he decides to fill that role. I think that's the ultra important coordinator job. Um, but yeah, both sides of the ball, I think we have some really big names. But I'm excited about Harbs. I have some really high hopes, and I just pray that they don't come crashing down on me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Best coaching hire of the cycle, me.
I'd have to agree. Honestly, just I mean, yeah, giving names and everything makes sense. Additional thoughts?
No, I agree. I agree with the OC hire is so important now because Harbaugh seems like a breath of fresh air, especially with how young that core offensively is. But coordinator hire is big, like you said, especially with Monken opting to go into that craziness in Cleveland. So
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
We'll get there. He's a few teams down. We'll get there. We'll get there. Steelers hire Mike McCarthy as their next head coach. I don't have major.
One man's trash is another man's trash.
That's crazy.
I'm not a McCarthy, like as a Green Bay fan, I'm not a McCarthy hater. I think it was a situation where time just ran its course. It was time for them to part ways. It happens. I think it happened relatively amicably, so to say, if I remember correctly. But things happen. I think I think McCarthy is one of those coaches that has typically been relatively decent in the regular season as long as his roster is healthy. He just hasn't, had much playoff success, outside of that, outside of his Super Bowl. I don't know who the Steelers thought would be the right hire in this situation, especially given the cycle. I don't think McCarthy is a terrible hire. You could have done worse, in my opinion, just from the standpoint of either going with a first-time head coach or going with somebody who doesn't have the experience that McCarthy does. I mean, he's one of the more experienced coaches, like head coaches in this cycle. So as a non-biased fan, it doesn't scream terrible to me, but a lot of, Steelers fans weren't pleased, to say the least, to be nice about it. But yeah, thoughts and takeaways on this hire.
Steelers fans are annoying. Like they're ungrateful. You're annoying because you're ungrateful. Like you fire a walking W, you're not gonna be happy with anybody they hire. Let's just be for real. They could have hired freaking John Harbaugh or Sean McDermott and they'd still be crying. They get under my skin almost as much as a Cowboys or Eagles fan. Like I just don't like that. But yeah,
it's bad though. This is not good though.
I know.
If it was John Harbaugh or Sean McDermott, they'd be like, "This sucks," but okay, I guess. This sucks. This sucks because now
who do you replace?
Aaron Rodgers too.
No, who do you replace Tomlin with though? Like you literally just had a coach that won in every single season he was there. And we're not talking about a coach that you have for 5 years. So it's like, who are you looking for? Jesus? Like, I don't know who you replace him. I don't know. I seriously do not know who you replace him with. Now, in years past, it's probably going to feel like you replaced him with another version of him because again, you're going to have great regular season success. But maybe in the playoffs, you lose in the wild card. I just don't know who could right the ship with all the like the biggest question mark being the quarterback position.
A coach can only do so much, like depending on the roster, and I think that's the hard part about hires. And you have different tiers of fans. Like the being invested in football has shown me that the tiers of fandom in the NFL are ridiculous. I thought the NBA was bad. My God, the NFL is Jesus. You got to stay out of some of them comments. But to the point, a lot of like whenever a coaching position opens up, 9 times out of 10 there's a lot of roster questions that is probably the reason why that coaching position opened up to begin with, right? Like, because the coach is the scapegoat, right? Like, even if a coach is bad, they're just typically the scapegoat for a team not being good. So if a team doesn't win enough games or doesn't look promising enough, the coach is the first person to go. So a new coach that comes in has to now face all those questions. And again, to the timeline point, you need time to potentially rebuild culture. Like, rarely are you like the Steelers have culture, sure, but they have big roster questions. So you're mad at McCarthy, but it's like when McCarthy has had, like, at both his stops, McCarthy had a top tier QB and he did well. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know who else they would have wanted in this cycle. I agree, Ashley. I don't think they would have been happy with really any hire. And I do feel like that part is ungrateful because if you're ready to move on from Tomlin, so be it. Like sometimes it's just too long, right? But are you looking for a splashy name? Are you looking for all your roster problems to be solved with the coaching hire? I don't know. That's just not how it works. But again, I think you could have done worse than McCarthy. I think as long as y'all try to answer the roster questions, he'll do well. I agree with the different virgin point, so I can see them maybe feeling like it's a lateral move. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you have to take a lateral move, right? Like you never know. Who's to say they don't fire McCarthy in 2 years? The way coaching cycle works, who knows? So we'll see. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I don't know if this makes Rodgers coming back more of a possibility than what it really might have been to begin with. Again, I'm all for him retiring. I think this is a great way to walk away, to be honest, me personally. Definitely don't come to the NFC. Definitely don't come to the North. We don't need that. I digress. The point is, but if he did want to come back and he did want to play in Pittsburgh for McCarthy, Steelers fans don't have too many other options. So I would take, Rodgers for another year to
They
maybe.
want Will Howard to start.
Well, have fun.
Right, like
Like, you're going to be mad and stressed all year. More stressed than you were this past year. So do what you want with that. but yeah, any other additional thoughts on the McCarthy hire?
I agree. I think it's one of those when Tomlin said he was leaving it, the Steelers were probably feeling they were in a tough spot of just like first timer or someone who no one's probably ever really heard of, and then probably have a losing season for the first time in 20 years. To Ashley's point, like I think the whole league took Mike Tomlin for granted there for probably the last 6 years. But like I don't know how many people hobbled that roster, like to your point, up to above 500 and into the playoffs a couple of times, and they tried to lose the division this year. So no, it'll be interesting to see how it works out. I think McCarthy's probably a good name. He's from Pittsburgh, so he understands what the organization means just to him, like in the area. But yes, it's an aging roster with quarterback issues, so that's never a healthy recipe.
For sure. So
And he did coach Aaron Rodgers, so that has to mean something.
I mean, it has to mean something, right? He had some success.
yeah, that championship was 16 years ago. Kids are driving now.
Hear me? Don't remind us, please. Just more salt in the wound. Good Lord. My God.
Somebody else say his NBA equivalent. I can't say it.
Okay.
I shouldn't say. Can someone fill in the blank? He's the NBA.
Doc Rivers.
Yikes.
Oh.
Yikes. That is terrible. I don't even want to stew in that too long. We got to move on.
Ouch. That's ouchy.
Very
Nice guy.
Very
ouchy.
Nice guy.
Titans. hire Robert Saleh as their head coach. A lot of people were
That's higher.
a lot of people were a bit surprised that he got this hire. I think more so because of how things went with the Jets. Although
Oh,
I don't necessarily feel that was fair to Saleh, to be honest. I digress. But went back to be a DC for San Francisco this past year. And yeah, I mean, I think he deserves another shot at head coach, and I guess we'll see how thing works. In Tennessee, he's starting from ground zero, so I mean, he can't do any worse than what they did. So I guess that's a plus. But yeah, thoughts on this hire?
I feel about Salah the way I feel about Vrabel. Like, I'm not saying he's as successful as him, but he's just another guy that you can root for. I was shocked that Tennessee went this route, but I think this is actually a good fit. I really do feel like, and this is not even me being biased, the fact that he went out and got Brian Daboll for the offensive coordinator position. This is the same man that built Josh Allen. You pair him with Cam Ward, who he tried to get before getting Jackson Dart. Okay, now Tennessee, they cooked. They definitely cooked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think I was with you, Ashley. Like when I saw Salah got announced, I was kind of thinking Rabe's wavelengths a little bit, just kind of that energy he has. He's a young guy. Players seem to really like him. Um, so yeah, I thought it was a great hire. And then, like you said, I similar to what the Giants still have to do, the OC hire was going to be important. If they think that Cam's the guy, which I mean, by all accounts, he really could and should be. So yeah, Dayball with Salah and Salah just having to deal with the dysfunction in New York for like 5 seasons and still winning 20 games, like it still feels impressive. Like I don't know. Like for as bad as the Jets were, like during that time, you see the 20 win mark, and it's like, oh well, that's not bad. So no, I like it a lot for Tennessee, especially in that division. That division seems pretty wide open.
Mhm.
Agreed.
I like.
Well, it looks like you're about to tell a spooky story.
Oh, I had to. My laptop was gonna die, so the
Oh.
lighting's yeah. Should I? No.
No, you're good.
You're fine. You're fine either way, bro.
But yeah, I like it. Redemption. He deserves it. This is a fun hire.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
very.
like it. I mean, Cam makes all of this very interesting to watch because his development will be key, and the Titans are going to go as far as ultimately he takes them. So once you're able to actually get him weapons and get him a balanced team around him, it's going to be fun to see what he does in the league. But I agree. I like the hire for Salah as well. Last two hires. Falcons hired Kevin Stefanski, which first and foremost, kind of back to your point, Tyler, about Raheem Morris. I, also, I get that Stefanski was, that he won, Coach of the Year 2 times.
Please.
But the only weird thing for me is I don't see how you saw how things went in Cleveland last year, all things considered. And not that this was an easy hire for them. I just kind of feel like I don't feel like a lot of guys could have had a season that looked like that and that was documented in the way it was from some of the things the coach did from like a player relations standpoint and him be able to easily walk into another head coaching opportunity with the same kind of like not quarterback drama, but the same dilemma ultimately of who's going to take your snaps and what that looks like and who you're trying to commit to long term. Clearly that's not his forte. That's not his ministry. I digress. But this is the hire that they made. So, thoughts on this for the Falcons?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'd like for Raheem Morris to at least have had that third year come along to see if he couldn't build on the back half of this year. I mean, they weren't playing for anything at the last game of the year, but they were playing to keep someone out in the division, and that basically brought them right about a game under 500, which I know we're kind of lowering the standards here in the NFL, but yeah, for 2 years, I'd say let him have another go. And if you really didn't think Raheem was the answer, then go ahead. After 3 years, let him go. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of good names. Tomlin's probably a little easier to get next year. McDermott at this point surely seems like he'll be waiting for a phone call. But I think the thing that Stefanski at least could say in every interview was, did you see the dysfunction that I had to deal with after I had the success or after he had the success that he did? Because that Deshaun Watson contract was just, I mean, it was a weight wrapped around their ankles. I mean, just dragging him down. He couldn't work around it. I'm not saying that's an excuse for him to get another job. I'm just saying it was very easy, probably, for people around the league to think, well, see what he did when at least the Browns tried to win a game or, try and make a push for it. So let's give him a run here where we think at least we know how to run an organization. But I don't know. I wouldn't have been surprised if Stefanski got a job somewhere. I guess it was going to be somewhere. I guess the Falcons thought, well, we think maybe we can do it with him more than Morris, but I don't know.
Yeah, with Raheem, it felt like Lovie Smith all over again in Houston.
Oh.
Good point.
For what? For what? Like, he did the most with what he had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Stefanski, it makes me question my Coach of the Year award. And I'm like, am I a bad coach? Do they just give this to anybody? Because he got two of them things. Yeah, so I'm sorry for Bajan. I hope someone else takes him in fantasy next year. So yeah, I'll probably put in Tyler Alligator or Algier, I believe. I just don't want to mess that up anyway. So that's it.
Tyler
Anyway,
Alligator. Yeah.
Insane.
we going to the Browns.
We are going to the Browns, who have hired Todd Monken as their head coach. So this is what was interesting for me about Monken again in doing my research. Had to look at his coaching resume. 3 years as a wide receiver coach at Jacksonville. 4 years as a head coach for Southern Miss. 2 years as an OC for Tampa Bay. 1 year as an OC for Cleveland. 3 years as an OC and a QB coach at Georgia. And then 3 years as an OC for Baltimore before taking this job. That is a very extensive resume, and I guess you could argue that he has earned his opportunity for head coach. I guess maybe given where the Browns were and that they weren't a pretty destination for most of the names in the cycle, not necessarily surprised they went this route. I think it's easier for them to say, hey, let's take a first time, NFL head coach, newcomer, so to say, with the dysfunction we already have. Hopefully he gets that 3 to 5 year timeline of like, let's see if we can get out of this dysfunction. Let's see if you can kind of build a culture and go from there, because the slate is relatively clean. I mean, you have a, all-time, all-world defensive talent on your hand, and you have some weapons on the offensive side of the ball, but again, you have to figure out what this quarterback situation is going to be, what direction you ultimately want to go. And I just think you need to build a different culture there to begin with and build the roster a little bit differently. But hopefully this clean slate for both sides allows for time for them to truly see if something can be built, but we'll see. But yeah, ultimately thoughts on this hire for the Browns.
I'm wondering. Defense. I like the defense. Offense. This is the guy that Lamar won MVP under.
Mm-hmm.
When Deshaun Watson is healthy, is he your guy?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope not. But again, who am I? I don't know.
No, for multiple reasons.
If he coached one of the best QBs in the league to an MVP, do you trust his decision with who's at the helm?
Yes? Question mark.
Are we still talking about Mr. Watson?
So if it's Deshaun over Shador,
not taking that.
do you fire him too?
No. I think the
Conversations
battle is
still.
going to be interesting. But what I will say is, because of his history with Lamar, I would imagine that the development of Shador and even Dylan Gabriel will probably look a lot better. And I think the competition for QB1 will be balanced. I don't think any of those three are walking in and just, they're not walking into the job. I truly think they're going to have to battle it out, for QB1 if one of them is not traded before training camp to make it a clear two-person battle.
I'll also add this though. I do feel like, and don't shoot me, he has a lot more pieces to work with this offense than he did the Baltimore offense when Lamar got MVP. I'm thinking about Njoku at tight end, Jerry Judy at wide receiver.
Get him out of there now.
They need a wide receiver one because Judy ain't.
No, yeah, they do need a one, but I do think he's still a really good option
Get him
in
out.
the offense. You don't like him?
After that conversation with Shador, he was like, just pass me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Isaiah Bond looked great.
The running back.
Yeah, but I don't know what his
He'll make
situation
it out.
is.
He's going to make it out.
But Quinshawn Judkins is nice.
Yeah, he's going to make it out too.
And
wait, there's another one with the K's? Hold on. I thought Quinshawn was what? Go back.
Quinshawn is their running back, but he broke his foot, right?
No, I thought he had the case at some point.
Hey,
No, Isaiah Bond had
Oh.
a case. But did Quinshawn also?
I vaguely remember something popping up
Hey.
around started this season.
But yeah, he was facing suspension.
yikes.
They didn't do it. An ankle though. Yeah. But yeah, I like the names that they have.
Their battery charges, but they were dropped.
Okay. I think Todd has a lot to work with in Cleveland. And maybe that's what attracted him to the job. I'm just interested in this
He
QB.
likes them messy.
We like the messy. I'm weak. Tyler, any thoughts on the hire?
I think it'll be interesting to see having an offensive mind in there, especially an experienced guy with Monken who's used to working with younger people at a couple of stops in college. It makes the development of that quarterback room a little more interesting, especially if he decides, you know what, Shador's the guy at least for this year and next year, presumably. Like, let's focus in on him and can actually try and coach him up to be an NFL quarterback. That'd be interesting. I with teams like the Browns and the Jets, I always come back to organizational dysfunction, and if it can stay out of the way long enough to let the team actually win games on the field, which is like a little different than the organizational function in Dallas or dysfunction in Dallas in the sense that they don't care about winning. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting for Shador and Dylan Gabriel with Monken in there.
Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully he figures out the situation in the QB room. I hope it goes well. He really just has to go in there, lay the hammer down, I said earlier, and just show that he's not monkeying around and he's got to figure it out himself.
How long were you sitting on that, Miguel?
This guy is so silly.
How long were you sitting on monkeying around? Because you brought his name up earlier, so I feel like this has been stewing all day.
No, not all day. It's been about 5 minutes though.
Okay.
That one was more calculated. I had to find where I was going to slip in. But,
Got you. Well, those are the 8 of the 10 teams that have hired their head coaches. The Cardinals and the Raiders are still searching. Something tells me they'll be searching for a relatively decent.
I'm crying.
Don't seem like those at all. But yeah, we'll see. One last question I have as far as this head coaching cycle. So something I've noticed is, so you always have like head coaches who are, who might have their name in these cycles. But I think we always talk about DCs and OCs getting their opportunity, when the time comes. But what I've also seen is it seems like DCs typically tend to have a better transition to head coach than OCs do, from my very limited knowledge and kind of outlook. I don't know if that's because I wouldn't say hiring a OC is more important than a DC by any means, but I think if you bring a defensive minded person as a head coach, I think if that defense kind of sets the tone, getting that OC to help with the offensive game and being able to get those pieces maybe comes a little bit easier than trying to instill a defensive mindset. Just my thoughts, but just as I'm noticing some of the resumes of the coaches in this cycle, it seems like DCs, I don't think they get favor, but I think they tend to have a little bit more success. I've seen a lot more OCs who have become head coaches tend to flame out a bit quicker. And I was curious on y'all thoughts of kind of like that transition and even that pipeline, and if y'all seen a difference in success from like one coordinator, or the other as they transition to head coaches.
I haven't noticed a trend, but I wouldn't be surprised if defensive coordinators have more success because defense ultimately keeps you in. We saw it with the Texans. Like, I feel like it was more so their defense that kept them afloat than the offensive side of the ball. And D'Amico Ryans is a defensive guy. So,
Tracks.
Yeah, I'd say maybe if you're an offensive coordinator, you're so used to the play calling aspect and design of the offense that now you're saddled with also having to fully control the whole team. And then I think for a lot of them, it takes them maybe a little while to realize I can't split focus between the whole team and then going to talk to the offense and the quarterback room. So again, I don't know if it's just like a really good observation or if there is something to it, but that for me, what I think that's where my mind goes is like, at least as a DC, like, well, I can't call offensive plays. I got to get someone anyway. It's a lot easier to, scheme up zone versus man versus designing an entire playbook. So I think it might be maybe a little just easier knowing like, oh, well, I know I don't have to worry about this half of the ball anyway.
Yeah. I think that's a good point.
Versus this. I think OCs, I don't want to say are too smart for their own good, but it's type A personality versus type B.
yeah.
And it's like,
There you go.
to command a football team, I feel like you got to be the guy that has your hands in the dirt. Everyone is rah rah because like you feel the energy of the coach. I feel like I come in looking like me and I'm like, hey guys, I got plays. Everyone in that locker room's like, shut up, Mike McDaniels. Like it only goes so far where it's like that. Oh, is great in Miami and like things are going well, but like if there's no like edge behind it, like of Raves, like coaches that we've seen previously, it's hard to get that dub. You need come on now, look at the Chiefs head coach. Tell me that's not a football guy when you look at him. You don't look at
Hey, you're sick, man.
you look at Mike McCarthy, he looks like a football guy. It's a visually appealing hire. But then you get like, huh?
This is a prototype you're speaking to.
We're talking you gotta have a build. Like you gotta be able to look these men in the eye and be like, I need you to go get a block out there, buddy. On the whole hand on me. Like those are the guys that win chips. They're like,
That makes I get what you're saying. I give you a hard time. I get what you're saying. McDaniels is a good example. I think LaFleur is in the same boat. I think the OC mind of his is what is sometimes in the way of him being able to really connect with the team on the level that I feel like a lot of fans are looking for. But I agree. I think it has something to do with the way they're wired differently and how that translates to team buy-in. And it doesn't mean that OCs can't have a team buy-in with them. I just think for DC's kind of like you said, Tyler, that transition and kind of that ability to say, I know that's not my forte, so I'm not going to even try to split the responsibility. I think makes a lot of sense. Whereas OCs just kind of have maybe this cockiness of like, yeah, I could do both. I mean, I could play call and I can, manage this. Why wouldn't I be able to do that? I manage the whole offense anyway. What would be so difficult about adding the rest? A lot, as I'm sure you all are. But I digress.
I want to ask y'all a question though. I got like an activity.
Oh, okay. Let's get to it.
All right. So I'm gonna name 5 different positions,
Oh, good Lord. Okay.
and all of y'all just like shout the first name that comes to mind.
Okay.
And whoever makes the best team wins.
Which sport?
Football, of course.
Yeah, I was like,
NFL.
period.
Could be current, could be
receiver.
past. Don't care. Just the first name that comes to mind.
Oh God, I hope I get their positions right for some reason. All right.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, which? Oh, okay.
Quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers.
Mahomes.
Oh, crap. Burrow.
Okay. Rodgers, Mahomes, Burrow. Wide receiver.
Jerry Rice.
Michael Irvin.
Randy
Mm.
Mouse.
Ooh. All right. Tight end.
Travis Kelce.
Gronk.
Gotta brush up on my tight ends. This is Antonio Gates.
That's good pool. Okay. Running back.
Bo Jackson.
Adrian Peterson.
Barry.
Yeah, say Barry. Yeah. Are we staying on offense or are we going defense now?
Defense. Just give me a team.
Oh, 85 Bears.
That's cheating.
That's not cheating. I'm just quicker.
Okay, so you said 85 Bears.
Mm.
I'll take the Legion of Boom.
I'll go 2000s Ravens.
That was going to be my second choice.
Yeah.
Steel Curtain would have been a good. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ravens. Yeah, my life is in danger.
Yeah.
I feel like it was that Ralph. I'm in danger.
Okay, I don't know who wins because I didn't keep track. But...
Hey, but no, we'll remember and post a visual that.
Oh yeah, you know what? We'll make a graphic out of this.
Yeah.
That's a good one because those are good teams. So
I mean, I remember mine.
yeah,
I had Mahomes as my quarterback.
Yeah.
Michael Irvin as my wide receiver. Antonio Gates is my tight end. Adrian Peterson as my back. And then Legion of Boom as my defense.
Yeah, we'll let the people vote because these are all good teams.
and I had A-Rod, Jerry Rice, Travis Swift, Bo Jackson, 85 Bears.
Travis Swift.
I had Burrow, Randy Moss, Gronk, Barry Sanders, and the 2000s Ravens.
That's a nasty team too.
Hey, we got to make that. Can we do the Photoshop where one is in red jerseys, the other's in yellow? This might be. We don't got to AI slop it. We know graphic designers.
I'm not visualizing what you mean.
Like, all of the 5 people that we have in a specific color jersey. Well, I guess the 85 Bears, we just put them in a music video.
Actually ain't doing all.
All right. Don't make me use AI. I won't.
If you can, go ahead, and then I'll put them on if you can.
No, I'll talk.
Bill himself is AI.
Exactly.
Let me talk to me. I'll get. Yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be bad. No, well, we won't.
Chat GPT, I'm trying to tell you.
Gallons of water in Baltimore. And those jokes were coming up like that today. I don't know what it was, but
they were because you're getting them from AI. But I digress. No, but this that's been a jam-packed episode. Talked about a lot. Talked about Championship Sunday. Talked about Super Bowl preview. Talked about this head coaching carousel cycle. Talked about the Hall of Fame and made up some teams. Don't think you can ask for a better episode as it relates to the NFL and leading into Super Bowl week, which is when y'all would see this. So yeah, have fun with all this. And hopefully the Super Bowl is not a dud and we can come back and talk about something that was relatively fun. I digress. Sir Tyler, thank you for blessing the show with your ball knowledge. We appreciate you.
Thank y'all.
through Miguel's unhinged commentary, which we have to do every week. That's not an easy feat.
Nothing
So,
unhinged. There was
pass out to you.
a couple good punts.
No, I enjoyed every minute of
I
it.
was gonna say, today
The
was
full
not.
experience.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. It would not be the full experience if he didn't pop off once or twice.
That's
Wasn't too crazy.
insane. But again, like, comment, subscribe, follow Tyler so y'all can learn any more of his ball knowledge, whatever the case.
Drop the at. Drop the at right now to our 5 fans.
How about we put it on the graphic? I'll send it to Ashley. I am not as involved as I should be, so I don't know it off the top of my head. So I don't know what that says about me.
You're
But
getting
it'll be there.
exclusive. You gotta
Yeah.
see, y'all are about to be put on.
Okay. But until then, until the next episode, we'll catch y'all, man. Peace.